to the Friday Brew. Calvin Tiger, Augie Wolf is a special guest today. I have right here a picture of one of the most gangsters ever, Sinatra. Keep it on my nightstand so I can look at it every morning and remind myself to be a gangster. And by that I mean a man who takes care of business and does it when it needs to be.
That's some true inspiration right there.
Yeah, dude. Sinatra was like, he was in the choir. He was a choir boy. He was in the choir ever since he was a youngin', you know?
No, Porter.
Nice. Here it is. Bottle opener right there.
Appreciate that.
Shotes.
By the way, Broncos man, as a Missourian, I must appreciate this man for respecting Coloradian sports aficionado.
You know what? I'm not an Avalanche fan. I was never a Nuggets fan.
Really?
I'm not an Avalanche fan. And I don't like the Rockies either.
Rockies, I can understand. Avalanche, you got to explain this to me.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I was born and raised in St. Louis.
All right.
My father's from Colorado, okay?
All right.
My mom was born and raised in St. Louis. So I've got someone that's Colorado, somebody that's St. Louis. Now, being in St. Louis, it's damn near impossible to not be a Blues fan or a Cardinals fan.
Granted. I'm a Cardinals fan myself.
So when it comes to football, with the Rams, man, I had a choice. And my dad was so passionate about the Broncos. And really football and hockey were the two things. And he's a huge Blues fan. I don't think he's even an Avalanche fan, really. Actually, I know for a fact he's not an Avalanche fan because our whole house is decorated in Blues gear, and he's a Blues fan. Because he came over, when he came to Missouri, was that I don't know exactly what age it was, but when he came to Missouri, it was like, I don't know, they might not have had hockey in Colorado then, or whatever the situation was. I just know that my father raised me to be a Broncos fan, a Blues fan, and a Cardinals fan. And my mother was always Cardinals and Blues and didn't give a shit about the Rams, really. She kind of liked them, but nobody in St. Louis really is die-hard St. Louis Rams fan. They've always like, well, I love the Rams, but here are my other favorite teams. I think any other state, any other person I've known from any other state has been like, here's my favorite team. They don't list the backups.
Fair enough. I can understand that. See, I was also raised a Broncos fan on account of the fact that my father is from Colorado and my mother's from Missouri. So there's an interesting play you have to negotiate whenever CU is playing MU and or
Denver's playing Kansas City. Oh. That's a rival in itself, man. I'll tell you what. I went to Arrowhead this year and saw Denver play Kansas City at Arrowhead.
Oh no.
You know what, man? I wasn't harassed as much as I thought I would be, because I thought I was gonna be like beat up and just like raped. Like that's how bad I imagined the harassment to be, but it wasn't that bad. And I think one of the reasons was, and I was having a conversation. I was, guys, they're at the urinals. They have conversations.
Absolutely, shit happens.
So I was wearing these pants actually, these Broncos colored pants, and the guy was a Kansas City fan. He said, "You know what I like about you Broncos fans? You guys are respectable. I'll tell you what. I've been through all the different states. I've been through all the different stadiums. You go over to the East Coast." You can't talk to those guys. Jets fans, Giants fans, Steelers fans, you just can't talk to them. It's impossible. But you Broncos fans, respectable. That's why I'm not fighting anybody today.
And, it's
okay,
beautiful.
That's fair enough.
Well, and I respect that because it's interesting when you can talk about sports teams because, even to the district of the Midwest.
Yeah.
All right. So technically, that should be a 3-line division in between our country, right? But then you have the South, especially in college football. You have 4 lines of division. You have the 2 in the Middle East. You have the one coming across the South, which divides the SEC. And then you have, your...
aside from a few teams.
Yeah. And so... with Missouri joining the SEC, and this is something that I am adamant about. Being a native Colombian, I have been raised on the Big 12. Since 1990. It has been Big 12 ingrained inside of, my brain pan. The whole thing about this, once we joined the SEC, I was actually working for a Memorial Union and events crew. They didn't tell me we were going to have confetti balls to clean up. One of the worst nights of my life, man. Worst nights of my life. But ultimately, I think it's ended up well. I'm extremely proud of MU football dominating the SEC.
That they did.
I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there.
2 years.
2 years. Which right now I'm drinking the vanilla porter that I picked out of there. But, no, man, I'm extremely proud of Missouri dominating the SEC, especially with all the, hype and everything about it. Dude. Especially with such a young team.
Yeah, and what's the name of the kid? And I don't follow SportsCenter because SportsCenter makes my brain go numb. No. So I can't do it. But from what I've read online, what's the defensive end from Missouri?
Michael Sam.
Yeah, Michael Sam.
This guy. No, okay.
Let's talk about that.
I'm absolutely willing to talk about this. First of all, I think the kid's amazing.
He was first-team All-American.
And one of the first draft picks in the NFL. Yeah. And, the guy admits to being gay. All right, really? Really? That's the only thing that's holding you back? And I think I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on one of the things here, but Jon Stewart ripped everybody apart.
That was my favorite part about the whole Michael Sam thing is Jon Stewart's take on everything.
It was icky. On account of the fact, all right, no, you have, pedophiliac rapists, you have dog fighters, you have, this, that, and the other. And just, you're homosexual, that's just not NFL material.
The way Jon Stewart brought it up was he said, he showed an interview from somebody who was a member of, I forget which NFL team, might have been the Texans, I think.
Possibly.
Like a defensive player from the Texans who said,
it's going to cause lots of controversy.
It's going to cause lots of controversy. If I'm in the dressing room next to him and I'm getting dressed, how do I know he's not checking me out and thinking thoughts like that?
Okay, first of all,
and Jon Stewart's reaction to that.
Oh my God, it was amazing. And just
because he's in most NFL teams, they had the remarks were something. The teams that had a quarrel with it were something. We just don't want to deal with that controversy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And he said, okay, so you don't want to deal with murderers. Showed a picture of Ray Lewis. You don't want to deal with rapists, and showed a picture of Ben Roethlisberger. And you don't want to deal with dog murderers.
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick. Yeah,
just and coming straight up.
But being gay. No, we can't do that. We can do
clearly not NFL material.
The other three we could do. Yeah, that's not NFL material. Is what he said.
Well, that's the big. Okay, I was a wrestler in high school. I was a soccer player and I was a wrestler. Did it make me one of the best athletic people that could end up, cage fighting later on? Yeah, it did. But getting through it. There were some D1 scholarship athletes that ended up going to Georgia. I'm not going to mention any names. But the whole thing about this was these people didn't know how to quit. Yeah, I had to take showers with other dudes on account of the fact that I wasn't going to get wrestling funk. It's a healthy thing. Did we make a big deal out of it? No. You did it. You got in. You got done. You went home.
Well, even on the football team in high school, we all...
it's just
we actually I can talk about this because a very particular moment. We as football players in high school, we had public showers, and it wasn't until my late in my junior year of high school that we got the showers were like singles. They were like 3-sided.
Right.
But before that, it was a fucking pole that had like 6 showers on it.
Right. Yeah, no, that's what I had to deal with.
And we all showered together, and it wasn't anything homosexual or really homophobic even. No, it wasn't either side. We just, it was just a thing.
You got out.
Yeah, you took a shower and you did what you had to do.
It was cold, it was nasty, and you just got out as soon as you could, and that was just it.
And we actually, had someone that was on our team that he played for all 4 years, was a starter, he was a stud, man. He was a great player. He was a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, but really he was a defensive lineman because he had more of a nasty attitude. He was kind of a whoop your ass type of guy.
Absolutely.
And after we graduated high school, maybe a couple years later, he came out of the closet and said that he was gay. And it was and a lot of people, and I thought back to the moments. I was like, man, this is a guy that we shared showers with all those years before.
Right.
Did it make a difference? No.
No, not in the least.
It didn't make a difference at all.
Not in the least.
Because the same way that I think intellectually a man is attracted to a woman is attracted to a man in a heterosexual couple, I think in the same way, I would understand it in the same way.
Physical attraction.
Yeah,
and that's what kills me about all of this.
It has to be intellectual, I think, to a certain degree for most people.
Well,
Michael Sam, that guy's talking about Michael Sam being next to him. It's like, dude, he may not think you're God's greatest gift to earth. He may not think you're attractive because you're an idiot, most likely.
No, exactly.
Like, that's probably what's the deal is.
And that was one of my biggest problems with the whole thing is, we all got made fun of and, all of that mess. But at the same time, I guarantee you, all right, that's going to make me sound shallow as hell. But we pulled more chicks than most of those football players did.
Depends on the type of chick and the quality.
Truth. Well, granted, this is high school. Keep in mind, this is high school.
Everybody has their fun and they make mistakes.
And, granted, nowadays, as I'm older, you start to look more for, more
soulmate type material.
Well, is this chick funny? Is she intellectual? Is she,
Can she hold a conversation with you?
Is she well balanced? Just any of these things, which,
Will she try to cut off your dick if you break up with her? Literally a thought that I think every time I think about dating a woman. Will she try to hurt me physically if I were to break up with her? And
or just cause me obscene amounts of mental trouble. Like, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing you have to deal with, especially at our age. But there are girls out there. Like,
guys.
I consider myself to date one right now that is actually amazing with this. Because she's been through all the bullshit before. And, am I lucky at this point? Absolutely. Absolutely. With my last couple of relationships.
Everybody has their relationships. If you haven't dealt with crazy yet, most of the time, once you've dealt with crazy, from then on you can distinguish a good relationship from a crazy one or a bad one.
Even going back to that in the NFL, all right, so this guy's gay. Really? That's your biggest concern?
Dude, if I was a coach, if he's a stud athlete, these guys that are in the NFL are adults.
This guy was one of the number one draft picks. Like, what?
He's going to play in the NFL.
He had better. That's my biggest thing is, you look at our society today. How many of those people out there that you know are leading a dysfunctional relationship right now? And then you look at this guy, and all right, he's in the NFL. He's obviously making a name for himself, and he's obviously got priorities. And this is coming from a hetero dude. This guy obviously knows what he's doing.
Nobody. His entire team knew that he came out to his team before he came out publicly.
And that was one of my favorite arguments about this was he came out like a year ahead of time.
To his team and his coach.
And it was like, hey,
nobody had a problem with it.
This is happening, and all of them, and this is one of the things that Stewart made a point of. Like, all of them
supported him.
Was just like, all right, so we've kept this under wraps in college. Apparently, college has changed since the time I've been in there, because apparently no secrets were just available. But hey, what?
That's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that may be a verbatim quote, but no, I mean it's just the whole fact that this guy, and I'm especially proud to be from Missouri. From this guy had in the heart of the Bible Belt, the Midwest.
Yeah.
This guy had the chance to stand up. Excuse me, but this guy stood up for what he believed.
You good?
I've got the hiccups. Yeah, apparently this is going all bad, but this guy had the courage to stand up for what he believed in and for what he stood for was right. And the fact that the rest of the university players, I mean, think about that in college.
Yeah, they stood behind him, man.
Did anybody know about this until it hit ESPN?
No.
Because I would really like to know if they did.
No. Well, that was part of like what Jon Stewart was saying is that he came out to his teammates, and his coach a year prior, like before the 2013-2014 season started, and played the whole season, got All-American. Nobody had a quarrel with it, really.
Wasn't that amazing?
And then he's number one draft pick, and he's going to the NFL.
And he has to expose this.
Yeah, I'm sure his agents were telling him, were saying, you need to do this before you go to the NFL and then do it. Probably because a certain reason is he needs to expose himself before he goes to a team so that he goes to the right team that's going to accept him.
Well, and he's going to do well wherever he's at.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at this.
So by being closed-minded, you're only ruining your chance at a good defensive player.
Pretty much. There's no other way to sum that up in a single sentence. Like, the man knows what he's talking about. Like, all right. And like I said, I'm especially proud to be from Missouri, an extremely Bible Belt state, and one of the most conservative states in the nation. But yet, as a university, has supported this guy, and he's going to make it to unparalleled heights in the NFL. What beer did you get?
The beer that I got is called Tiger.
So you got both Wolf and Tiger. I was actually kind of playing on that, hoping. I picked it by name.
It is what it is, man. No, Wolf and Tiger. That's a good way to do it.
That's how we were introduced.
Yeah. It was Chad said, Tiger. This is Wolf. I'm like,
Wolf. This is Tiger.
Wolf. Nice to meet you. I'm Tiger.
That's pretty much how that happened, and that was the genesis of us meeting. But
we thank Chad for that.
Here's to you, Chad.
I need to toast to Chad more often, man.
Dude, yeah, we do.
And I'll tell you why. There's people in your life that'll believe in you, and there's people in your life that'll support you.
Oh, Slancha.
But there's not a whole lot of people in your life that'll believe in you and support you. And Chad's one of those people in my life. He believes in me and he supports me, and he may be the only person other than my immediate family. He may be the only person that I know that truly supports me and believes in me. And for that, I got to toast to you, man.
And I'm going to put up to that because Chad's one of those guys that he's never going to turn your back on you. I remember whenever I met the kid, we worked together, and it was a pretty, for lack of a better word, miscreant job. We had too many things to do. We all got them done, but you were able to do what you wanted to when it wasn't happening. The whole thing about this was there's a code of honor when it wasn't happening. And a bunch of us led this. And, Chad may have been the last of the hire-ons that we were just totally adamant about and, could make this job amazing, fun, and the best job that any of us have ever had at that point. I mean, to this point, all of us today.
Yeah.
I mean, I can throw out so many names that these kids will still keep in touch on account of the fact of the miscreant things that happen on the University of Missouri campus. And that's about as vague as I can leave that. But
I know some of the stories. I know some of them.
Chad, we salute you.
Yeah, dude, seriously. And I think that everybody that has a person that they can salute. Think about if you like right off the top of your head. I don't know who I could salute. Start thinking about who you surround yourself by. Start thinking about
Truth.
who's in your life, and maybe you need to find somebody. Not go looking for them, but when you find somebody that will support you and believe in you,
Let me just think about the past.
just figure it out. Just
Well,
hold on
and
to 'em.
you know, at a certain degree, every one of us, me, him, everyone else, has screwed up on a certain level, right?
Oh yeah, that's the only way you learn.
That's the only way you learn. And the people that stuck by you for that, those are the people I'd start looking towards. Because those are the people that, they've been there for me. And ultimately, them's your friends. And I'm going to go ahead and put it up to that.
Yep.
But anyways, back to the Michael Sam issue. Dude,
Yep.
okay, there's another point I want to bring up, and that's the fact that there is a completely, openly, and totally gay Australian rugby player. He was the first ever to admit that he was openly gay in any kind of professional sport.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy,
Pretty sure Roger Federer is gay too.
dude, would I want to get in a fight with any of them? No. No.
Much less a scrum.
Hey, dude, you put me in a scrum, dude, I'm going to get fucking, I'm going to get destroyed. I'm going to get rolled over. It's going to be horrible. And I mean that. I played rugby before. I was a wrestler in high school. I was a fighter after that. It was gross. But you put me in a scrum with all of those. No. All right, you remember that scene in Lion King where Mufasa got trampled over by all the wildebeest?
Yeah.
That would be me in a scrum with all of them.
Fair enough.
That's my point.
Fair.
Only I wouldn't have the whole heroic. Maybe. Well, maybe. Maybe. I'm going to let you decide.
You don't have a son, so not yet.
Truth.
So there was a guy I used to be a member. Mufasa. I used to be a member at a gym, Rhino Fitness in Wentzville.
All right.
And there was a guy that worked there, super buff. I mean, this dude was like, he posed in magazines. Buff.
Yeah.
Totally cool guy. Never for an instant ever thought that he was gay for any reason, but he was gay. He was a homosexual, and that did not bother. Like, I don't know what it was. I don't have a problem with it, and he would spot me on my lifts. So think about, I'm benching and he's spotting me. So if I'm laying on my back and he's spotting me, that could be a potentially erotic looking scenario. I don't know.
Right.
But like, it didn't bother me because I think you get your alarm going.
Yeah.
I think that he never made a move on me, never hit on me. It's the same as if a woman was spotting me. A woman that I wasn't attracted to. She didn't hit on me, and she never made a move on me, so why would I feel threatened? It's the same thing with him. He never made a move, and he never hit on me, so why would I feel threatened?
Well, exactly. And I have, okay, being from Colombia.
Equally as unattracted to it.
Being from Colombia, you've got, a very diverse population as far as that goes. I've got a lot of gay friends.
Yeah.
First of all, they've academically achieved more than me, some of them. They have physically achieved more than me, some of them. Point is, they're people. Dude, we're all people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to claim that I'm perfect in any way, shape, or form. And to judge someone off of their preference, it seems so shallow to me. And that coming from me is a problem.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody saying, "Hey man, I'm just into I'm only into black girls," or a girl saying I'm only into black guys,
right?
Or a guy saying, I'm only into.
And it's just limiting yourself, man.
So whatever, yeah. Yeah. It's that sense. Like if I were to say to you, yo, Augie, I'm only into black girls. You're like, okay, that's cool, man.
All right, I'll
So
respect
if a guy,
that. Yeah.
so if a guy, if I say to Augie, yeah, I'm only into guys. It's like the same.
Yeah, it's like, all
idea.
right, I respect that.
Yeah,
You know.
it's the same sense. It's like that's what you're into, man. That's
I'm gonna
cool.
relate to you how I can. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be able to relate to you in the total sense of how you want me to, but
Well, okay.
I'm gonna relate to you how I can, and that's how I have maintained my gay friends, both lesbian and gay, is that kind of just like hey, for example, and this may just be my personal experience, but if you have a lesbian woman as your wingman, oh, dude, that opens up so many more possibilities than you could ever imagine. That's the whole thing.
Well, have you ever been to a bar with one of your gay friends who's like, I'm gonna be your wingman tonight, dude? It's to be a straight guy and have a gay man as your wingman. It's gold. You're golden. Like
No, it totally is too.
In any situation that I've been in, because I came from a theater background,
right.
So I have a fair number of gay friends.
Right.
I mean, more than the average person, considering it's
fair
theater.
enough. Yeah.
Musical theater of all things. There's a good number of gay guys and girls in that community. From my experience, having a gay guy as my wingman is better than having a straight dude as my wingman.
It totally is too.
Because I think there's a certain level of women can pick up on who's gay and who's straight. Most women, right off the bat.
Most easily too.
Yeah, easily. And so there's a certain level of, okay, he's not trying to sleep with me. Like even though when I meet girls, my first time meeting a girl, I'm not trying to sleep with them.
No.
Because I'm more interested in getting to know somebody. I'll sleep with you if I think you're interesting enough to sleep with. That's kind of my thing.
One case.
But I think a lot of girls
ladies,
feel
that's how you know a quality dude right there. But
I think a lot of women feel threatened that like a guy's trying to take advantage of her or that he's a pig or whatever. But when they're around a gay guy, it's not that way.
No, it's truly not.
They don't feel that threatening, and that's my perspective being a straight guy,
well,
and so having a gay guy as a wingman is perfect because, then he can vouch for me being not being a douchebag at the same time while he's not threatening. He makes friends with them, brings them over to me, vouches for me for not being a guy that's just trying to sleep with her. And if she respects the fact that I'm not trying to sleep with her and values that I'm trying to meet new people and have a great conversation with new people, she's the type of girl that I'm probably interested in.
Totally true thing, too. Because, oh, man. Shit, who said that to me? I don't remember who said it to me, but it's either a life of substances or a life of substance. And that's one of the things that I learned especially with women, was that dude, you can wait for a quality woman to come along, or you can pick up all the trim at the bar. It's not necessarily that hard, even if you don't have a gay wingman. But
I need one in that case.
Going back to the subject, and what it comes down to is I have met so many gay people, lesbian or gay, that are so much more capable than so many straight people out there. And the fact that they're judged for their sexual orientation is just wrong.
Yeah. I've met so many people in my life that I didn't even know were gay, or I did know and it didn't even matter to me. It didn't even matter, like, in terms of, like, what they did, what they were capable of doing. It was just a normal person.
Yeah. And it's just so easy to just get acclimated to and just roll with. And that's the biggest thing, is, like, especially
okay. So the last thing that we were touching on was our feelings about being in a community with people who are not of the same sexual orientation as us. And I say it that way because that's how I mean it. I don't mean whether it's gay, or pansexual or whatever your style is. Like, that's cool. Like, neither Augie nor I have really the least bit of confrontation for anybody that's different from ourselves.
Dude, honestly, it ends up leading to, bigger and better things in my experience. For example, went dancing in a gay club, SoCo, in Colombia the other night. One of the funnest nights I've ever had, because frankly, gay people don't give a shit about how they look, what they do. It's fun.
Yeah, that's
fun.
One of my favorite parts about my friends that are... I don't like to use the word gay, really, because I feel like I just want to use my friends that are outside of the heterosexual stereotypical lifestyle. That's what I'd rather use.
I like that.
That's what I'd rather use, because there's a lot of different things outside of heterosexual. But no, you go to SoCo and people legitimately just don't give a fuck what others think about them, because that's the lifestyle that they've probably had, or that's the mindset that they've probably had to have in their lifestyle.
And I also have,
that's cool, because I'm on the same page as that. Like, I'm wearing fucking orange pants with a fucking shirt.
Well, that's the biggest
blue
thing.
And shit. I don't give a shit.
Every time I walk in there, because I'm well dressed, everyone considers me gay. I'm not.
Yeah.
Do I give a shit? No.
Yeah, dude. Some of the coolest people, some of the nicest people, some of the most intelligent people. One of the people I've met in my life that's like the most intelligent when it comes to improv. Now, this guy was not on the improv team at the time,
right,
or ever actually, but one of the most intelligent, one of the wittiest people I've ever met in my life, and I respect him, is Mr. Dustin Z. West. And he was one of those people that dressed strangely, and people gave him a lot of shit all the time, but he was one of the most down-home, realest dudes I know. And he legitimately just, he just didn't give a shit what other people thought about him and did his own thing, and that's something I gotta respect.
That's so beautiful, and that's the whole thing, is that, like, whether you're hetero, homo, whatever the fuck you are, I don't really care. The whole thing about it, I think it was Nikolai Tesla that said, those that exhibit what's the word I'm looking for? It's not communist, it's conformative. Anti-conformative behavior ends up being some of the most intelligent. And that may be paraphrasing. Don't take me word for word.
Well, if it's from Nikolai Tesla, it's probably paraphrasing.
That's the whole thing. Is that
he spoke English very well.
I mean, fair enough, but you may meet some of the most interesting people you've ever known, and if you let any kind of division, religion's
a big divider.
Sexuality
is a big divider.
Any of these things.
Politics, big divider.
Especially politics. I mean, and that's an interesting thing you raise up, because I was raised Democratic in a mostly Republican family, and even so, in the public climate that there is, I'm not sure there's either anymore, necessarily, which... That could be a good thing. That could be a horrible thing.
It's hard to tell with our generation. Our generation, it seems, is very open to a lot of things, such as gay marriage. I support it 100%. Should be a thing. Tattoos in the workplace. I don't judge a book by its cover. I judge a book by the actions that the book has written within it.
Most of the time, those things actually contribute to... I mean, I've gotten hired because... I've gotten actually promoted in several of my jobs on account of the fact that, yes, I have tattoos, but I'm able to provide, upstanding and outstanding community service.
Yeah.
Dude, why?
You'd be surprised the amount of community service that I've done, as well as Augie.
Dude, honestly, tattooed individuals can't say anything more else. I mean, yeah, we can both cover them up. I mean, you can see one of mine. But honestly, if I two buttons up, dude, you wouldn't be able to see anything. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah. I'll tell you why I wear a nose ring. Because I want you to know that I think outside of the box. fair and square. Exactly why I wear a nose ring.
Oh.
I want you to know that I think outside of the box.
Austin, Texas. This is one of the things I want to share. Austin, Texas. One of my friends actually removed his nose ring on account of the fact that, not professional. He doesn't necessarily have full sleeves, which I'm going to have at least one. But in Austin, Texas, there are cops that have nose rings, that have full sleeves. All these things. And especially in Texas, man. Texas. One of the most conservative states in the nation.
Yeah. Death penalty, man.
Oh, Texas. I love Texas women, first of all. I'm going to throw it out there. But secondly, Texas in general, because my boy worked for Greenpeace. And one of the biggest things that Texas has to fight is racism. And even to this day, there's so many people that deny that the KKK and any other racist group is alive in Texas. They'll deny it because they know it's true. At the same time, my dude's mixed. Like, he's the other older brother I've never had, and the other brother that taught me how to get in trouble. This kid, he's mixed, and literally he couldn't stand it.
Yeah, that's another topic for another situation, another day, for another podcast.
We'll talk about this again.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap things up, for real. Thank you for tuning in to this week's podcast. I hope that everybody learned something today, and we covered a variety of subjects. I hope that everybody that's watching, listening, think about who's around you and how you perceive them. Seriously. And why you perceive them that way, and the ones that maybe you perceive them negatively.
Imagine who means the most to you.
Yeah,
that's all the inspiration I can provide in this aspect. But
imagine the ones who mean the most to you, and figure out why they do, and what about them makes them mean a lot to you. So you've got an uncle that's got a tattoo, but you don't hate on him. You got an uncle that's got a couple tattoos. You got an aunt that's got a couple tattoos. You have a sister. You have a niece.
You've got a cousin that's gay.
You don't hate on them because they're your family, right?
No, they're your family.
Maybe you do hate on them, but they're your family. Maybe you shouldn't. Whatever the situation is, try to find each person for what their value is as a person, and not anything outside of that.
Biggest thing is, and one of my most biggest inspirations taught me, quit fucking with them lames. Quit fucking with them lames.
Yes. And lames is anybody that's too narrow-minded to look outside of the box.
Down, man. Anyone that's slowing you down.
Yep.
That's it, man. Calvin.
Augie.
Tiger.
Wolf.
Boom.
It's been a good show. Stay tuned next week. It's going to be real interesting. Things are going to start getting spicy around here. The way I look at it. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Peace.